by the power of Grayskull.
All right, My Adventures with Superman has just premiered, and I have some thoughts. Okay, first of all, let's get all the usual comments and concerns and criticisms out of the way. Okay, it's anime. I like anime. I'm a huge, big fan of anime. Does Lois look like Lois? I guess a little bit. Ha ha ha, there you go. Owl House. Not really. She just has short hair. There are a bunch of women that have pixie cuts just because she's, she doesn't have, crazy curves and, long flowing hair doesn't mean she looks like another character or she looks like a tomboy. Personally, it's an aesthetic choice. I like all the designs. I don't give a crap about the race changes. I know people are going to be like, Jimmy Olsen's not black. Listen, the only time that was ever bad was on Supergirl, and that's not because he was black. It was because James Olsen is a dud character. I like the actor, but the character was a dud. This Jimmy is very nice and very funny. I'm a big fan of Lois in this iteration. She's her usual spunky, go-getter self, high energy, but she's not rude. Yeah, she does lie from time to time, but they eventually get rid of that arc, or she overcomes the lies and the trepidation with, Jimmy and Clark. One thing I appreciate about the show off bat is that they're doing the Superman and Lois route. If you've seen the CW show, it's pretty good. Instead of having it to where she's in love with Superman at first and shallow reasons, she just likes Clark. She sees Clark sees her, they instantly have chemistry. They're adorable with each other. Jimmy is kind of a cockblock, but it's kind of funny from time to time. We won't have this will they, won't they crap or wait like 6 seasons. This show is only 6 episodes for the first season anyway, so we'll see where it goes. I really enjoy the animation. It's done by Studio Mir, the same people that brought us Voltron, Legend of Korra, Vox Machina. So if you like those shows, you're going to like this. I think the action could be revved up a little bit, but overall, it's pretty good. The character designs are neat. And before anybody screams, oh my gosh, Perry White is black. Lawrence Fishburne played Perry White. So, and Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, these are ancillary characters, okay? They don't really matter. As long as you have Lois and Clark right, first of all, that's the most important part. I like Jimmy, so there is that. This show is very boots to the ground in terms of where we have Superman and his friends. This is a very green, early Superman. It very much reminds me of the New 52 era. And let me just stop people right there, because I've heard of this 1,000 times. Oh, you Sailor Moon. Listen, for the love of God, just because he has a transformation like that, yeah, I guess on surface level it's Sailor Moon. But you know who did the magical transformation thing first? He-Man. So let's get that out of the way. And second of all, this whole transformation is a reference to the New 52. Guys, read a comic book, okay? Source material. The show borrows heavily from source material. Yes, some of the designs are different, but I can see where they're pulling different elements. For example, a huge criticism I see online is, why does Superman have electrical powers? Well, fun fact, Superman is not invincible. Yes, he's super strong, right? And he's impervious to bullets, but Superman can and has taken damage. The way to hurt Superman is to be stronger than him, to have more force than him. That's why characters like Darkseid, Mongol, and Doomsday can hurt him. Superman isn't all powerful in terms of like invulnerable. Like, he's been beaten before. So the people that are like, oh, wow, how can he get beaten by a robot? He's never fought anyone. This is his first time beating on something, so especially something of that caliber. So yeah, he's going to get his shit rocked. Now on to the electrical powers thing. Guys, this is something that's been here for nearly 30 years in Superman's publication history. Go back to the 90s, we're talking about post-death of Superman, Superman Red and Blue, the electric boogaloo, as some fans like to call it. Yeah, he has the electrical powers. This is something that they've referenced several times throughout DC continuity since then, to the point where in current comic books, his son, that's right, Superman has a son, John Kent, go read the book, John Kent in Injustice, it's pretty solid. He has electrical powers as well. So that's where that's coming from. And yes, you can argue, yes, it's a little bit of anime flair and whatnot, but it has to do with his bioelectric aura, which allows him to do the way they explained Superman's powers back in the day, like back in the 2000s before the New 52, was that he emits a bioelectric aura, like a force field. He doesn't have impervious skin, okay? It's an invisible aura that is all around him that also gives him tactile telekinesis. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm indifferent to it. That's how Superboy got his powers, so that's pretty neat. So in the show, Superman has to fight, well, his first villain he has to fight is Livewire. And I thought it's pretty interesting what they did with her character. Instead of being a shock jock obsessed with Superman, now she's some low-level bandit. She's selling alien tech, high technology on the black market. I think the way the show is going to go is that a lot of the incidents in the show are going to have to do with Kryptonian tech, which is interesting. It kind of gives me Smallville vibes. If you've seen Smallville, everything was caused by the meteorites. So it very much has that kind of vibe to it. Not too bad. And the other antagonist of the show is Slade Wilson Deathstroke. Okay, Deathstroke does kind of look a little strange. This is a younger interpretation of Deathstroke, and he's voiced by Chris Parnell. You know Chris Parnell? He is the voice of Jerry on Rick and Morty, and more importantly, Cyril Figgis from Archer. Yes, he does sound like the Progressive Box guy because he's also Progressive mascot. I hope going forward that he does alter the voice a little bit, and he doesn't sound like incompetent or anything, but I do hope he does kind of the Ron Perlman thing. And like, I don't expect him to be totally like Ron Perlman, but jazz it up a little bit, Chris. You don't have to do your typical Jerry kind of voice. You can do something a little bit different, a little more serious, or at least subdued. And you get a glimpse of that towards the end of the second episode, which is interesting. I thought the way they introduced the Fortress of Solitude, because for all intents and purposes, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be in the middle of the Antarctic. I think it's probably just going to be on Kent Farm. We get to see Jor-El, and Jor-El is pretty interesting. Usually Jor-El is this suave, nice, young scientist, but in this route, I guess they're going towards more of the Man of Steel, military society kind of route. It looks like Krypton leans more towards like invincible Saiyans type situation, which is interesting because there is rumors that we might see a version of Lara, aka Superman's mom in the show, and she's also going to be very rah-rah militaristic Kryptonian, which is going to be interesting because usually we don't get a lot of information on Superman's mother. So that's going to be interesting. Jack Quaid as Clark Kent is a very solid choice. I think he does a really good job. I like how they portray Clark. He's a dork. And, some people are so used to stoic, very broody, or very Captain America-like, just father figure Superman. And that's not who Superman is. I guess you can say that's the public perception. But Superman is a dork. He's laid back. He's the salt of the earth, friendly, like adorable character, you know? He loves apple pie, he loves his mom, he loves baseball, you know? He really likes his friends. That's the kind of person he is. He tries to fit in. He's not this stoic. I mean, if you want the traditional Superman, I'd say go watch the DCAU. He's charming but very confident and very dad-like. That's your favorite interpretation. You have that. This one is more younger, more greener. I don't think it's going. In terms of aesthetics, yes, this is very New 52 inspired, but I don't think they're going to do the edgy personality from the New 52. I think he's going to be more softer, more nicer. Like I said, with the whole transformation sequence thing, that is totally from the New 52 because Superman wears armor. He has a special kind of armor that magically forms on him. Not magic, but science. It's Kryptonian tech. Kind of like Man of Steel, but in Man of Steel, they don't really explain it. I think he just wears it under his costume. In the comic books, it just materializes. I don't think we're going to get the transformation sequence every episode, but and towards the end of the second episode, he just hides the costume under his bed. But personally, I'd like it to be like nanotech, where it just forms all over him. It's like New 52. That's my personal preference. We have the Trunks. I like the Trunks. I could live without them, but I kind of like the Trunks. Overall, this is a solid series. I can't wait to see what they do next. I have really no objections other than, Deathstroke getting a little bit better and having the action scenes feel a little more snappier. Otherwise, this is a pretty solid beginning to a pretty good show. I like it. If you agree or disagree, get a discussion going in the comment section. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know the next time we upload. And thanks for watching.
Realize that the show